it's recording. So
you didn't get your snapper out.
Oh, dang it! You're right. It's all the way in the top of the closet too.
We're not doing that. You want me to clap again?
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are we ready? Take a breath.
We're ready.
Okay. All right. I guess, before we get started, we'd probably need to go over like a few things, like before we get to the headlines.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Like
Are you going to...
the name change.
Right. Are you going to clap though?
Yeah, I'm going to clap. I'm just saying.
Okay. Oh, for sure.
Before,
we have got to, Yeah.
Okay.
All
right, here we go.
All right,
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do it too. 1, 2, 3.
That was good.
Was that one okay? I thought that was weak.
Yeah, it was good.
It's no, I don't know. I can't hear myself all that well, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right.
Okay.
Here we are. Backyard
Phenomena.
Backyard Phenomena. This is episode 2, but the first one under this name.
So, do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I can't remember why I Googled it.
I wish you didn't.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing I did at this stage. But I guess so. I Googled it, and there were 2 other podcasts with It's Getting Weird, and they also talked about stuff that, like, we talk about. So,
right.
2 episodes in, we thought, maybe let's pivot. And after lots of deliberation, we landed on the name Backyard Phenomena with an A at the end, like phenomena.
Yeah.
So you can email us at backyardphenomenapodcast@gmail.com.
So forget the other email.
Well,
that one doesn't matter anymore.
Right. We do still have access to it. So if you happen to just send it, but I would say after about a couple weeks, we won't look at it anymore. So,
right.
So if you end up listening to this like 2 years later, use the Backyard Phenomena Podcast @gmail.com.
Yeah. So, although we promoted the last episode under the new name, we didn't say the name in the podcast because we didn't know we needed to change it.
Right.
So that's where the confusion came from, if there was any confusion whatsoever.
There's confusion, all right.
Maybe nobody paid any attention. It doesn't matter from this point forward.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, nobody's going to listen until like episode 80. So.
And also, I guess it'll be under that name on Spotify and YouTube, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. We're on Spotify and we're on YouTube and maybe at some point Apple, but.
Yeah. And also, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central, you can tune in to Pirate Flag Radio, WPFR, either at thepirateflagradio.com or on the Radio King app. And we'll be there every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
Yes.
Bada bing.
Bada boom.
And I guess the plan is we're going to premiere it that night, and then after that we're going to they'll be available on Spotify.
Yes.
The new episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
hear it first on Pirate Flag Radio, and then after the program on Pirate Flag Radio, they will be available on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah. Perfect.
And that is the show news.
Zach, news. The housekeeping.
Do the housekeeping, as people like to say.
I know, yeah.
Anyways, Zach, do we have some headlines this week?
Oh, we got some headlines. So the first one is a little sciencey. I'm not going to go into detail on this because I don't understand much about it, but I'll give you the headline here. The rotation of Earth's inner core has slowed, new study confirms.
So the outside is spinning faster than the inside is what you're saying.
Yes. In fact,
that don't sound good.
No.
That does not sound good.
I know. In fact, it's slowing so much that it is like eventually going to be going backwards, I think is what they're saying. or
what?
backtracking relative to the planet's surface. So I don't know exactly what all that means, but they're saying that at some point the days will be longer a little bit because of it.
Like just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Like a minute? A second?
It doesn't say.
So they don't even know.
Yeah.
Crackpots.
I know. They're
making this stuff up.
And they're getting all the info just from like seismic changes. Like they just like test like earthquakes, and they're like, oh, because this earthquake is, doing something, we think the Earth's core's moving slower. I don't know. I don't get any of it. But
I don't either. That sounds It's like really like, what does it really matter? If it's only like a few seconds or a minute, like who really cares?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if it turns into like hours or something, that might be weird, but
for sure. Yeah.
But there's like those weird calendar people who like freak out whenever there's like a second's been added onto a day. Cause now they're like, that means in 99 that there's going to be 3 extra days added on to the calendar or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. Okay. But so that one was like, that one was okay. Here's the good one.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. Let's hear the good one.
All right. Elephants. Okay.
Okay.
Elephants have names for each other like people do. New study shows.
How do they know?
So, apparently, they've been recording elephants, and elephants are saying some kind of sound that is another elephant's name, and the other elephant
like
is
uniquely
responding.
Okay, gotcha.
Kind of like names.
Right.
And so then they started trying to, they figured out what elephant had what name. Oh, bless you. And then they started amplifying and like projecting it to the elephants to see some elephants, if it wasn't their name, they didn't really care what was being said. But if it was their name, they cared.
Gotcha.
But they were talking in the article. They said, how did the elephants react when they discovered they'd been prank called? Is what they asked the scientists. Okay. The scientists said they were probably temporarily confused by the playback, but eventually just dismissed it as a strange event and went on with their lives.
So, reality is, they didn't care.
Yeah. At all.
That's pretty good.
So,
those are good ones.
Yeah,
those are good ones.
Yeah. So I tried to find like a UFO one, just because I had you told me yours was probably gonna be something around that lines, but I couldn't really find much besides all the like Senate hearings or whatever that stuff is.
Yeah, I guess that's coming up soon, and that'll be interesting to hear what the outcome is. I don't know why. It's like I always I never trust the government in any form or fashion. So it's like they're bringing up the UFO stuff now, or UAPs,
right?
UAPs,
yeah.
But like, for what agenda are they bringing it up for? That's the question at this point, because it seems to be fairly favorable to the existence of UFOs. They seem to be leaning a lot toward that direction now, which is maybe a cool. Maybe we'll get some cool info out of that, or they're just distracting us from something else they're trying to do, which is who knows? I'm not getting into that, but I'm just saying, what's behind it?
Well, they're still like threatening though, like that whistleblower. They were like threatening to kill him or so he says. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
So,
yeah. But it's interesting. We'll probably get some cool headlines out of that as it comes along.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
So,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
But yeah, that was headlines.
Yeah. So 12 minutes in, are you ready to get into the story?
I'm ready.
The subject matter tonight.
I'm ready.
All right, so let's do it.
Wait,
on this
I'm
episode,
not ready. I'm not ready.
Oh, sorry. I'll wait.
I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, ready now.
Yep.
Thanks. All right, this episode.
Nobody's gonna like that joke. It's just not very good.
It's because it's dead air. Nobody likes dead air.
Nobody likes dead air.
All right, we are talking about the Walton UFO incident.
Incident.
Okay. Incident.
Okay.
So, hang on a second. Travis Walton. Let's make sure I had the first name right. Travis Walton.
Okay.
Is his name. So, on Wednesday of November 5th, 1975, 22-year-old Walton went into the woods with 6 other men, including his boss, who were hired by the Forest Service to thin out some undergrowth and brush. Okay. In an area.
All right.
This was in, this was in, gosh, I'm totally not prepared. Arizona. This was in Arizona.
Okay.
Snowflake, Arizona is actually what the place is called. Oddly enough.
There's probably never been snow there ever.
Right. Yeah. So, anyway, so the theme was sit in, but it's a really small. I find it really strange. There was only like 6 people. The forestry had hired to clear out. I can imagine it must have been. I would imagine it's a pretty big spot. It doesn't say how big it was. The area they were supposed to clean out.
I mean, they don't have a budget.
Right.
Like 6 people was stretching the budget,
Right. Well, it says here the team was behind schedule and the men had to work long hours, sometimes literally from dawn till dawn. In some cases, I guess that means like a full 24-hour.
What?
That's what it says.
Well, why? How could it be so important that they get the brush cleaned up that they're willing to work?
I think now don't quote me on contract work,
Okay.
but because I don't know anything about it. But I think you have a time limit, which is why it says they're behind schedule. So the more you make more money, the faster you get it done. So the longer it takes, the less money you're going to get. It's typically how they bid these projects out.
Okay, I got you.
Now, don't quote me on that if that was exactly what happened here, but that's what I'm suspecting.
Okay. All right.
They're trying to, it's like, you watch like the Deadliest Catch, I'm talking about, where they're like catching the crab.
Oh, yeah.
They only have a certain amount of crab they can catch, so the faster they can do it, the faster they won't have to work. And, they still get.
That's true. Yeah.
So they still get like a ton of money,
Right.
Crazy amount of money those crabbers would make. So something similar to that, I guess, But anyways, so on the evening of November 5th, 1975, the 7 loggers got into the truck for a ride through the woods after work, I guess. I guess they're leaving the work site.
Okay.
And soon they saw what they initially thought was a fire in the woods. Okay. So they're looking through the brush, probably logging roads.
Yeah.
Thick woods around them. But as they approached the clearing, they saw a large silver disc hovering over the forest.
Why always a silver disc? What is that all about?
Well, I'm assuming, probably didn't say it at the time, but that's the big mama UFO we're talking about here.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, silver disc hovering over the forest. So for some reason, of course, I guess I probably would. I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I seen a silver disc hovering over top somewhere.
Run.
But Rogers, the boss, stopped the truck. Okay. Stopped the truck to look at it. I don't know if I would stop. I'm not sure what I would do.
Yeah, you would stop.
Would you stop?
Yeah, we would all stop.
I guess so.
Yeah. Because you'd be like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. But would you do this? Walton, the young 21-year-old, jumped out and headed toward the disc.
Okay, this guy's getting everything he deserves. like if you're gonna do that, like, come on. Like I get standing from a distance and watching it for a minute, seeing what it does, but like he ran towards it.
Yeah, I'm assuming like it, must have been somewhat within distance of walking. You know what I'm saying? It says ran, but even if it had to have been fairly close. To think you could get up under it.
Why would you get up under it? You can get a better view of it from far away than like in the forest looking up. Like, you're not going to see much.
We might figure out a little bit about this a little later on.
Okay. All right.
About why he, moved.
He was drawn to the UFO. Is it something like that?
Well, maybe yes and no, but we'll get there.
All right.
Okay. The men watched the object from the truck. The object began to make a loud noise and wobble from side to side.
Like
Yeah. Just like the theremin sound we were talking about.
Yeah. Like,
apparently all UFOs are, there's theremins all over them. It's just what happens.
I thought maybe it was like on like a fishing line, like just.
Well, that's Plan 9 from outer space. You're thinking
right,
of.
I know. Wait, so hold on. So
yeah.
The other guys stayed in the truck.
Still in the truck.
Okay.
They're still watching Walton run to the stupid thing.
So they're probably going, Walton,
right?
Sort of thing. Get over here.
I mean, I would not get out of the truck, but there would probably somebody in my group of people I was with who would do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not me.
I mean, imagine us hanging out up here in the Tri-Cities again with our group of friends, and there'd be somebody.
Oh yeah.
Want to get out.
That's true.
And and go up under this thing, And here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody started yelling, Walton, get back in the truck. And Travis Walton actually turned around and ran back to the truck. Started to run back.
So he was in some kind of a stupor, and then
I think he was fascination for sure.
And they were able to kind of snap him out of it, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably a good take you can make from that. A good case you can make from that. He actually turned around, ran back. It was then that the men watched in horror as Walton was struck by a blue-green ray.
What? Okay.
That shot out of the disc. They saw Walton lift a foot off the ground and be thrown back 3 meters. Whereupon Walton sprawled limply on the ground. So
he was just lifted because of the blast, like the impact, or it like picked him up and then threw him.
Well, I would think the impact. That's my first thought.
Yeah, that would
he
be
got shot
right.
with he got shot with a laser. Is what's happened here.
It kind of like the shockwave like picked him up because it was only a foot. Right? Didn't they say it was only like a foot in the air?
3 meters.
Oh.
He lifted his foot.
3
his
meters.
Foot lifted. He lifted a foot off the ground and was thrown back 3 meters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
this guy's dead.
Well, okay. Let's say this. Let's say that I got out of the truck. Okay. Got shot with a laser. Okay. What would you do at that point?
Just get in the truck and leave.
Leave me there laying on the ground. Right?
No, I guess,
be truthful about it.
No, I would.
It's too late now.
I would
it's too
get
late
out.
now.
I would get out and see if you were alive or not.
Well, that's what they didn't do.
Are you?
They hightailed it out of there.
Exactly. Get the heck out of here. Well, they're not friends though, right? They're just. They're just workers.
They are friends.
Oh.
I don't think maybe I don't get into that quite in the story, but they were close. In fact, I think Walton married the boss's niece at some point. I think it's.
Okay.
I think that I don't think I get into that what I've got written down, but that does happen.
So maybe they were just so scared that they just ran.
Well, that's what it says. It says, convinced that Walton was dead and scared to death himself, Rogers hit the gas and sped away.
Okay.
That's the boss, Roger.
So if we put this more outside of extraterrestrial kind of stuff, if you were in a truck and somebody was walking towards the truck and you heard like a gunshot or something like that, and you saw them kind of blast through the air because they got hit by some kind of shrapnel or something.
Right.
Yeah, you would probably think they were dead, and you got to get to safety, right?
I mean, if I seen somebody like get blasted in the head or something, and I'd probably need to get away.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if it was, something big. Somebody. If it's like a big military force or something, certainly we'd run away. Which can you imagine seeing a UFO shooting a laser? Yeah. I'd be gone maybe before it even hit him. But seriously, I mean, instinct would probably kick in at that point. Fight or flight, and you can't fight these alien lasers.
Yeah, I know it's a laser. I mean, even today, and that was 1975. I mean, they're getting the heck out of there.
Keep in mind, the UFO and sci-fi is really kicking off right now. In media.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So, leaving the skeptic mind out of that, imagine thinking of having watched movies about aliens at this point and stuff,
Yeah.
You'd be scared to death.
I mean, unless it was Plan 9.
Well, yeah, that was, yeah. That one's, that was like 1950 something, right? Or 60 something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah.
I think the movies had progressed quite a bit from that point.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. Well, you know what? That would be something cool to look up, was like, when did Close Encounters come out? Because that was pretty
I don't know.
culturally phenomenal, right? That was like, that was a big deal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
yeah, that's true. That was a big movie that jumped the UFO and alien craze for sure.
Right. Yeah. Had to have been around that time.
Yeah, probably. If not then, it was way early 80s or late 70s,
Yeah.
Anyways, so the crew left, went as far away as possible, it says. However, after a while, they stopped and returned to the clearing, trying to find Walton. They searched for him for about half an hour, but Walton disappeared.
They went
nowhere
back.
To be found.
They went back because they were like, they're going to think we killed him. We got to make sure he's okay.
Exactly. But he's gone.
Okay.
Gone. He's gone at this point. He's just gone.
Okay.
Back in town, they drove into town and called the police, of course, reported the disappearance of Walton. When they reported it, it was already late at night. The police, several volunteers, and the members of the Rogers group returned to the woods to search for Walton, but again they did not find him. So the police came, went looking for him, couldn't find him.
Okay, they reported it.
Now, here's an interesting little tidbit.
Okay.
Around 1:30 a.m.
Wait, when did this happen? When did all that happen?
It said late evening. So
okay, this is the same night. Then
yeah, I'm assuming. Whenever the sun went down.
Okay.
They probably started to leave.
Yeah.
And so that's probably depending on, where it is, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, probably.
Yeah.
So after they watched the UFO, drove away, and then came back to look for him, they would probably, you'd imagine they looked for probably a couple hours before they went into town.
Right.
Looking for him, maybe,
Yeah.
And then they went into town, called the cops. That probably took a few hours to get the cops out there.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they gathered a little search party themselves.
Right.
And went back to the woods and, probably a secluded place if it was, needed to be cleared, for whatever reason. Again, we're talking about forestry. Who knows what they're doing? So it's probably way out there somewhere,
right?
So, anyways, so here's a good little bit of information for you.
All right.
So around 1:30 a.m., the sheriff and Roger, the boss, visited Walton's mother to tell her her son is lost. I could be wrong, but I bet he probably still lived at home. He's probably 22.
Yeah, that makes yeah.
Maybe still lives at home. Could be wrong about that. Okay, so when they informed her of the disappearance, her response was, "You ready?"
Yeah.
"Well, that's the way these things happen."
That's it?
That was the response. The sheriff was shocked at how calm she took the news and her general lack of surprise.
Yeah.
Walton, his brother, Dwayne, and his mother were described by the sheriff as longtime students of UFOs.
Okay. That's
so
that means they were known in the town for talking about UFOs all the time or something.
Right. I think that's something like that.
Okay.
Again, we're sort of in the craze of sci-fi. And, Roswell is pretty, still hot topic at that point probably. And, several other
it's still
accounts.
So weird.
Unless they were so convinced that UFOs were actually invading the Earth. They were just like,
wouldn't you still have a reaction?
It's starting. It's your son. But you know what, man? People are strange. I've seen people talk about things that you would just think are absolutely nuts, and they're just going through their day. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Reminds me of our friend at the mall. Who would talk about all these alien things and never flinched,
He was a student of the UFO.
Oh, certainly was a student. Yeah, me and Zach worked at the mall at one time together at the same kiosk.
Yeah.
Both of us worked and repaired watches for a while. As odd as that sounds, we sure did. And there was a guy who would come by almost nightly.
Yeah.
Almost nightly.
Almost every day. Yeah.
And pretty sure he was convinced Zach was an alien.
Did he say that?
What? You remember the comment he made about your nose that one night?
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he said.
I think I do remember that.
He was describing what he referred to as fallen angels.
And he was
that was aliens.
And he was like pointing at me. He's like, like you. And he was like,
yeah, exactly.
He was like doing his eyebrows and like pointing at me.
Yeah.
And I remember we both looked at each other like, what is going on here?
Oh man. Yeah. So,
guy.
So I'm saying people are crazy. There goes the dog.
Uh-oh.
That's not going to be good, but we'll just have to work through it.
There's a UFO outside.
Yeah. I think the UFOs are coming in now. The dog hears them. But anyway, so my point is that people they just have, a way about themselves that we would think is strange.
Right. Yeah.
So again, I'm not discounting the fact that I'm still a skeptic, but I try to keep an open mind about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to go straight to, they must be planned because they didn't care.
Right. Like, they murdered
because that's just not simply true. Some people just have strange reactions.
Right.
To situations.
Right. Yeah.
But the skeptic in me is like, they must have either planned this out, faked it, or whatever,
Right.
That's what my mind would first go to. But you know what? Strange things happen. We talked about it before.
Strange things happen.
So of course the police are like, all right, y'all are covering something up here. the talking to the crew and, especially after the visit with the mother, things are getting, of course they're skeptical, obviously.
Right.
Once they hear that a silver disc shot a laser out and snatched him up or whatever,
Oh.
So, all right. So the following Monday, November 10th, Roger and the member of his team were interviewed on a polygraph.
Okay.
A polygraph.
Yeah.
Also known as a lie detector if you weren't familiar.
Right.
All 4 men passed the polygraph test.
And they all said, this is what happened. Wobbly flying saucer shot him with a laser.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it became apparent that there was no lie detected in the telling of the events that they told.
Okay.
So, how about that?
Yeah, and by 1975, I mean...
Now, that being said, polygraph tests, just to be clear, are not permissible in any court anywhere.
Yeah.
So, they really mean absolutely nothing. I think it's more of a ploy to get somebody to confess than it is to actually detect a lie,
Yeah.
So they want somebody to say, no, I don't want to take it, or, okay, I confess I killed him,
Yeah.
I think that's what it really boils down to. But, technologies came a long way. I don't know how good polygraphs were in 1975, but I guarantee you they weren't as good as they are now.
Right.
But, all 4 of them passed, So
okay.
Yeah,
so, I mean that probably means something.
So I would say they believed what they think they saw.
Right.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
right, and what I was getting at is by 1975, I don't know what else that it could have been that would have confused them. I mean, we already had helicopters and fighter jets and all that stuff already existed, so I don't I don't know what they would have gotten it confused with.
Yeah, and it's always been interesting to me that almost all of the fantastical UFO sightings or events have happened out west. Don't you find that strange? Like, you never hear about them really anywhere else,
Right. Well, there's UFO sightings everywhere.
Right.
But
I'm
you're
saying
like the really big.
You had Roswell. You had the Phoenix Lights,
Okay, yeah.
That, where that's another one we could probably talk about. But, hundreds and thousands of people in Phoenix saw the UFO, and called 911 and everything. So, all that stuff happened out that way.
Yeah.
So
that's weird.
Just really.
Maybe it's just like a really big runway for these UFOs to land on when they're coming from space.
It's all flat. So,
yeah. They're like, it's flat. There's nobody there.
But it's also interesting to know that, and this is just a really weird side point, but just to say how things can happen in a certain area. Did you know the United States is basically the only place that has tornadoes? Nowhere else in the world.
I heard that. That's crazy.
So, maybe there's just the atmosphere is just right for them out west, maybe. I don't know. Mars is pretty dry, I think.
Oh, so they're Martians.
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
If you don't think they're Martians?
They might be.
They might be. I don't know. Here we go.
They could be from Venus.
So 2 days later.
Okay. So we're still going.
Oh, there's big search parties. Let me get this. There's huge search parties at this point.
And even though his mom is like yelling at everybody
in fact,
going, stop looking.
In fact, she was.
No. Are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
This is ridiculous. Like I thought I was saying a joke.
She was
that's real.
She was out there like, you might as well just give up at this point. He's gone. He's gone.
Oh, this is crazy. This is nuts.
Yeah. So just give up the search. He's gone. Interestingly enough. On November 12th, 2 days after the polygraph tests and the search parties and all that good stuff, there was a call received at Walton's sister's house. Okay.
All right.
From a payphone. And this was shortly after midnight on the 12th of November. And his brother-in-law answers the phone, and guess who it is?
It's Travis.
Travis Walton.
Oh, my goodness.
And calls.
How did he get the money? Did the aliens give him like a couple dimes or something?
Well, I guess he probably went to a gas station and probably
like robbed the place.
So he's completely naked. When they show up.
So how did he pay for the payphone? He's naked.
I guess they,
I'm telling you, the aliens gave him some money. Like, how else would he do it? He has nothing unless he traded his clothes for money at some point.
So they get the phone call. They go out there and they pick him up. And, of course, the police interview him and stuff. But he doesn't really say much to the police. In fact, oddly enough, the operator who made it was a collect call. That's what it was. It was a collect call. So the other phone. That just makes sense now.
All right. That totally clears it up. Okay.
Yeah. So he called collect. His brother picked up the dime.
Gotcha. Okay. I gotcha.
So this makes more sense now because this. Yeah. So here we go. We're getting there. So the operator recognized the name. Okay. Because it's all over the news. The guy's missing.
Yeah.
He tells the operator, this is blah, blah, blah. So then, because they have to call the house and then tell him.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's a call from, Travis Walton. Do you want to accept it?
Yeah. Okay.
And so they did. Anyways, so she recognized the name and immediately called the sheriff. Okay. She immediately called the sheriff.
It's getting juicy.
Travis's brother-in-law, of course, is saying, "Hey, I'm at this gas station. I need you to come get me." So he goes in gets in the car, and the cop passes by his brother getting gas in his car. Okay.
Yeah.
Before he headed to get him, I guess, and stopped and talked to him.
Okay.
But neither one mentioned that he was back.
Okay, because they're all suspicious of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
that seems normal. Like they don't know who knows what, and who's going to be in trouble.
Right. So anyway, so they all go out there. They pick him up, and he doesn't say nothing to nobody. Like Travis just basically just clams up, okay, and doesn't say anything to nobody.
Tight.
Right. So either or it's a traumatic event, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Because we haven't got there yet, but you would think he's been gone. Presumably on this craft.
Okay. There's going to be some information later that's going to help us understand. Is that what you're getting at? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
But anyway, so they go out there. Okay. On November 22nd, that's 10 days.
Okay.
After he comes back. Somehow this TV station calls him for an interview.
Yeah.
And he decides to do it. Okay. And so where has Travis been the whole time is what we want to know.
He's been back at his mom's house.
Well, I'm saying when he was gone for the 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So according to Travis, when he was struck by the beam of light, he woke up in a hospital-like room being observed by 3 short, bald creatures.
Short this time.
And says that he fought them until a human wearing a helmet.
Hold on. Wait. Hold
Until
on. Okay. They're short, bald
yeah,
aliens.
I assume like the normal grays.
So he's not strapped down or anything at this point?
Well, they must have been trying to because he's fighting them.
Okay. All right. And then a human comes in.
Apparently, a human wearing a helmet led. I guess not. I guess they walked him to another room where he blacked out as 3 other humans put a clear plastic mask over his face. Walton said that he remembers nothing else until he found himself walking along the highway 5 days later with the flying saucer departing above him. Okay. So they beamed him down.
That's all we get? That's all the information we have on the...
Okay. Now...
All right, you got to run through that again.
A couple things I want to state, just to be fair.
Yeah, okay.
Is that they were running behind on the clearing,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there was probably an act of God clause in the contract. Maybe they're using that to their advantage.
Does it say that? Did anybody come out and say that?
Nobody ever said that.
Okay.
But that's sort of I bet you anything.
That's the motivation.
That. Yeah, maybe. I'm just that's the skeptical side of this going on. He's also the National Enquirer at the time also was offering $100,000 to someone who could prove that extraterrestrials existed.
Okay. Would that be proof? Did he come back and had a fake arm or something?
Well, I don't know if it'd be proof, but the National Enquirer did send a polygraph person out to him.
Huh.
And he did pass the polygraph test, according to the National Enquirer.
Yeah, National Enquirer, but... Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Yep. So
we got
just a few things there. Just a few things to clarify some motivation.
Yeah.
Now does that mean that I believe those things? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a few options there.
Okay. Can you give me a visual of what happened again? Because it is so bizarre. I'm having trouble figuring out what happened.
The incident at first.
No. Once he woke up.
Oh, in the craft?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What? Kind of run through that again because I'm lost. Why?
So he lost consciousness.
There were other humans. Why were there other humans?
I wasn't there. I don't know. He lost consciousness when he was struck by the beam of light.
Yeah. All right.
Then he just woke up.
Okay. Yep.
In a hospital-like room.
Yeah.
Being observed. I guess they weren't touching him. I guess they weren't holding him down. Just looking at him.
Was it at this point were his clothes off?
It doesn't say his clothes were off, but I assume
probably. So. Yeah. They're observing, right? Why wouldn't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I mean, that's normally how...
if we caught an alien that had a space suit on, what's the first thing we do? We're cutting the space suit off.
We're cutting the space suit off
and we're observing the alien as it lays on the table, right?
Taking samples out of its skin and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's being observed by the 3 short, bald creatures.
Okay.
Who he began. I guess he got up at that point and started hitting them.
Okay.
Until a human wearing a helmet led Walton to another room where 3 other humans were, and then put a plastic mask over his face, and that's all he remembers until he woke up.
Okay, I've got it. So,
all right,
they're brainwashing these humans. That's what the helmets are.
Yeah, maybe.
And because
now you're talking.
And because they're short, maybe they're fragile. They're using the human strength to kind of be their,
Right.
minions or whatever,
Right.
It's very, it's a sci-fi movie.
Right. Now, here's some things I want to bring some positive, maybe a more, not, what's the right word I'm trying to say? Give some validity to the story.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just some things to consider.
Okay.
I talked about some skepticism. Now I want to talk about some validity.
All right.
Okay. There would have to be a ton of people in on this to make this work.
That's true.
I mean, all of the workers, all of their families would basically have to know all this stuff.
Yeah.
The police are basically, once they're investigating what they think may possibly be a murder situation, they're going to be on top of these guys.
Yeah.
And right on top of them the whole time.
Yeah.
You'd assume.
That's weird.
You'd assume. So how do they hide this guy for 5 days? That's the question. If it was a hoax.
Well, and for what? I guess maybe they thought they were going to get $100,000 from the magazine.
That's if you're going to look at it at a critical point of view.
And then they're going to split it. Everybody's going to split it.
Right. So yeah, and again, he wrote a few books about this story.
Really?
Himself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like how long? Like big books?
At least a couple. The Walton Experience and then Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
And which came after the movie. Actually, he called it the same name as the movie. But
okay.
And then, of course, like I said, the movie was made in 1993, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 1993, Fire in the Sky, which was based on the book The Walton Experience.
Have you seen it?
It's an awesome movie.
Really?
I love it. Yeah, it was a great movie.
Okay.
And definitely a lot of liberty taken with the story, if I'm reading it correctly from my source here.
How could you not? There's not
the alien
much
experience,
to go off of.
The alien experience was quite a bit different than what's described here. I'll just say that.
Oh, okay.
So very intense. The craft scene was very intense. But great movie. Loved it. Everybody should watch it if you haven't already. I think it's free on a lot of the streaming services. But anyways, that's the Travis Walton story. Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's something. I mean, like I have trouble with UFO stuff. I just really
it's the hardest one, I think.
Yeah,
I could much easier. I can't even say nothing. Easier to believe in ghosts, probably.
Yeah.
I can easily believe in cryptid creatures.
Yep.
Yep. Easier. But then again, why is that? Isn't this just as fantastical as some of those?
Right. You're right. But the UFO stuff, there's just so much of it, and there's like so much weird, bizarre, hoax-like stories and stuff. Well, I guess there's that with Bigfoot and stuff too.
Oh, so, certainly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It just never, had me interested like the other stuff. I don't know.
Right. But I found this story pretty interesting because he actually claims to have been abducted and was actually missing. It wasn't like it was a one-night situation. Somebody's in their bed and they wake up and then tell their friends the next day, "Oh, I was abducted last night."
Right.
Not that there's not validity to those stories either, but you actually have someone who's gone, a police investigation, polygraph tests involved, all this documentation.
That's true.
And that the polygraph tests really get me. So if those are believable, then I would say that they saw what they thought they saw, or they believe what they thought they saw.
Right. Yeah, I get that. So, is this guy still alive?
Yes, he's still alive. He still goes to UFO conventions. You can see him at all the major UFO conventions. He's he is racking in the dough for this stuff.
Okay, so
he's a big contender. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to get to is that his boss is also still alive. Okay. The boss, and he has not said that he discredits the story, but he says that I will no longer be actively talking about or being a witness to this event. Apparently there was a dispute over some money with some material that I think they were going to try to remake the movie and the money wasn't right for these guys. So one of them wanted the money or one of them wanted more or something like that. So they got in a big argument about it and now they don't like each other anymore. So
interesting. Okay. Is Travis still married to his daughter?
I don't know.
Boss's daughter?
I really don't know. Not sure on that one.
Interesting.
But he is certainly still active.
Okay.
So he's racking it in. Let's just be honest about it. He is profiting off of this story.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe I would too.
Which there's,
maybe
there's
I would too.
nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Right.
Like if something like that happened to anybody and they are able to make money off of it, why not? Like
exactly. If I could make a living,
I'm fine with that.
If I could make a living off telling a true story that I believed was true, I certainly would do it.
Right.
I certainly would do it.
Yeah. I think my skepticism comes in if it's like really immediate.
Yeah.
Like making the money like instantly after it happens. But I mean, at this point, it's been so long. Sure, why not? Make some money, sell the movie rights, like do whatever you got to do.
They certainly did in the 90s.
Not?
They certainly did in the 90s, that's for sure. But yeah, we're coming close here, Zach. Okay. We got about 5 minutes left. So that's it. I don't want to say either way. I think it's a really neat story because of the investigation from a government office, a sheriff's office, So I find that I find some validity in some of that stuff, that he was actually gone for 5 days, and they passed the polygraph test. I don't know what to tell you,
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard enough of these UFO stories to really weigh in one way or the other. Just very bizarre.
Right. Yeah.
Really bizarre.
Yeah. So. But anyways, I think that's going to bring us to a close here.
So don't forget to email us.
Give the email again, Zach, so everybody knows it.
Backyard Phenomena. That's PHENOMENA. Backyard Phenomena Podcast at gmail.com.
And thank y'all for
to hear your stories.
Yeah, please send them in. We want to hear some actual real events.
Oh yeah.
And not just talk about the popular ones if we don't have to. So hopefully we get some guests in here soon. We're working on that as well. So look forward to that and tune in every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central to Pirate Flag Radio WPFR and hear the first airing of the podcast. And then after that, of course, you can tune in anytime you want to on YouTube and Spotify. Just search Backyard Phenomena and you will find it.
Yep.
And all right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
We'll see you.
We'll see you.